In a shorts video, I posed the question, what boots come in a box like this? And it was these. Why it needed a box that big, I'm not so sure. Not usually my style, but I was intrigued by seeing more and more people in the mountains wearing lightweight boots, and indeed lightweight shoes like this. Right at the outset, I'll say I'm very traditional in my taste when it comes to hiking boots. I wasn't really tempted until I saw a YouTube video. I'll try and put a link in the description, and it was by Cameron McNeish, the mountaineer, author, broadcaster, and he was suffering from a very painful arthritic condition, hallux rigidus. He had the surgery and he wanted to get back into walking, but his heavy boots, like these Mindles, were just too painful even to put on. So he got some Hoka boots. I don't think it was this model. These are the Anacapa, I think, 2 GORE-TEX mid. Now I respect Cameron McNeish. I knew he had a particular reason for getting these boots, but he also went on to say something along the lines of he wished he'd have been able to get boots of this sort 30 years ago. So as you can see, I thought I'd try them out. Well, if you watched a few of my videos before, you know that I like to go to Scotland. The Scottish Highlands are characterised by very tough mountains. They're not the highest in the world, but they're some of the toughest. And I wouldn't have tried them out there, but I did go to Northern Ireland into the Mourne Mountains on a tough 15-mile walk. So how did these shape up? I'm going to read some notes now, so I apologise. Well, the good things is they're GORE-TEX lined. Unlike the Griceport that I recently reviewed, the lining, it's a booty lining, performed very, very well. My feet weren't hot or sweaty after a 10-hour, 15-mile, very, very rough walk. As I say, it's a booty. It's not the sort of fixed lining that you get in a lot of boots. It's almost like putting your foot in a GORE-TEX bag. I don't particularly like that, but it performed very well. In terms of the GORE-TEX, I had several stream crossings. My feet were dry all day, so it's looking pretty good now. This was tough granite, and the going range from rock scrambling on granite, granite tracks, sandy, gravelly, rocky, but also a lot of places with no tracks at all. And to be honest, bear in mind experience I've had with Targies, I thought I was going to come down off the mountain and find the sole falling off. I know it's only 15 miles, but I really can't describe how tough those 15 miles were. And it looks as though the sole is barely seen anywhere at all. The other thing is it was very peaty. If you're not familiar with peat, it's organic matter, it's very staining, and I thought the sides of the sole here would go dark brown. They cleaned up beautifully well. The creasing you can see here, that's how it came. It's not because of the wear. This is leather, nubuck leather. To be honest, it doesn't add a great deal of rigidity, but it's there anyway. It's mainly a mesh, which works okay. As I say, I went through a lot of vegetation and it's not even snagged, let alone ripped. I don't like this profile. This tends to catch on rocks when you're descending, and that is not good. That does not inspire confidence. The speed hooks I like, and I suspect that this is my fault rather than the fault of the boot. My left boot stayed solid, didn't have to tie the laces at all day long. My right boot, I was constantly retying it. as it was snagged on heather, but quite good nonetheless. What I was glad about was this rubber bumper, but this is rubber as well, and as I say, it's very rough rock. It looks barely touched, so that is very, very good. What's not so good, doesn't inspire confidence when a boot flexes so much. It flexes laterally, it flexes longitudinally, it twists, and when you're on rock, maybe a narrow ledge, you're wondering whether you're going to fall off. My ankles are pretty strong, but my knees aren't, and I found that the movement of my foot in the boot, moving from the sole, was articulated through to my knees, which are weak, and I didn't like that. It describes a swallowtail. I think that this was the swallowtail, but it's also got this Achilles support, which was quite good. Now, my expectations of these were that I would come down off a 15-mile walk. On the pacing on my phone, it was more or less the same as the last big walk I did in Scotland, about 33,000 paces. And the good thing about these was recovery afterwards was much quicker than when I was wearing this sort of a boot. My knees weren't quite as sore. My feet weren't quite as sore, so good in that respect. So does this mean I'll be dashing out again and wearing them on really rough terrain, trackless country? No. For Scotland, I've said before, this is my go-to boot, and it will continue to be so, the Mindel. But these have a place. Probably not for me. I'm going to use these on fairly light hikes, but I've got to say, if you're not tackling that sort of a terrain, definitely consider these. They are GORE-TEX, and as I say, the waterproof quality is supreme. Thank you very much for watching. Please check out some of my other videos for hiking and for heritage boots. Thank you.